Well, hi, I'm Larry Taylor. We are here at the National Museum of Wildlife Art and here to celebrate the opening of the Wildlife Photographer of the Year exhibition, of which I have one image in the exhibition, but there's 100 incredible images. Really excited to be here. I am a biology professor turned wildlife photographer from Montana. I spend about 100 days a year in the greater Yellowstone and Grand Teton area, and just really excited to be here and hope that you enjoy the exhibition.
Okay, the next question is, you can talk about the title of your image next, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, and tell us the backstory.
Sure. This is my image, Between a Rock and a Hard Place. This is an ermine I photographed in Yellowstone National Park in February. I believe the high temperature for the day was about 2 degrees. It was quite chilly, and it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I'll try to keep the story succinct, but ermine are hard to find. You know, they're all white, they blend in with the snow, they're really small, they're really fast. Often you just see this little black tip to their tail kind of darting across the snow. I'd been looking for them, I'd seen tracks in this area, and I was going through this canyon. There's this big cliff wall on one side, and something catches my eye up to the left, and I turn, and it's one of those things where it's as if your brain struggles to comprehend what you're seeing, because I had no idea that ermine could climb cliffs. And this ermine was 30 feet off the ground, scampering up this crack in the wall. Paused for just a second like that, and otherwise it was just darting up this cliff. And turns out it was trying to get to this wood rat that was clinging to a ledge way up at the top, and it never could quite get there. So the ermine would climb the crack, it'd be separated from the rat by, like, say, this much just vertical cliff face. It would jump at the rat, arms extended, cartoon style, fall 25 to 30 feet to the snow, hit the snow, bounce up, do it again. And this happened, I think, about a dozen times. So it was like watching an ermine base jumping, because it would climb, jump, fall, climb, jump, fall. And eventually the ermine gave up and never got the rat, which is kind of sad for all the effort. But absolutely once a lifetime, never gonna see it again, and knew it as soon as it happened that this was once a lifetime event that I was just lucky to be there to witness. Sure. So the question being, what made me want to submit this photo? I'll start by saying I have submitted photos to the contest before, and I've had photos be finalists to the final round of judging before. But as soon as I took this photo, I knew that was the one, for a million reasons. I mean, first, like, that's just, I've never seen another photo of a ermine climbing a cliff. So it's just such a unique event that automatically I knew that this is something really special. Then there's the fact that ermine themselves are just not the easiest critters to photograph. So that it's a kind of unique animal to photograph in a very incredibly unique experience, or doing a very unique behavior. And then there's more than that too. Like, the ermine's actually looking at the camera, and I watched this ermine for an hour. It looked at the camera for maybe 5 seconds, and so I got the eye contact, and then just the composition too. The vertical black crack with the white ermine, you got this splash of color on the rock. Everything just kind of came together for that literally half second that I took this photo. And so I knew immediately that this was something really special. And as a photographer who takes tens of thousands of photos a year, it's really rare to have something that you immediately know, this is unique. And I knew it as soon as I took this, that this was the one. That day I backed this photo up in like 10 different places, and then, you know, as soon as the contest opened, submitted it. It was an easy decision. This is the photo I will never repeat.
Do you have a favorite animal?
I do. I have a favorite animal to photograph. It's coyotes. Not the most, I'm looking for a word here. They're an underrated animal, I would say. But I think they're really beautiful animals. They have a lot of personality, very intelligent, and I just really enjoy them. Also because they don't attract the big crowds all the time. So I love photographing grizzlies, wolves, ermine, owls, elk, moose, all of it. But If I had to pick a favorite animal to photograph, it's definitely coyotes. In Yellowstone, a lot of people know me as the coyote freak, and that's fine. I just think they're really underrated animals, and photograph them all that I can.
Any wildlife shots are still.
Sure, there's a lot of wildlife shots on my bucket list. There is a shot here in this exhibition that I immediately was incredibly envious of. It is a jaguar biting into the skull of a caiman while looking at the camera at water level. It's just ridiculous in every way. I would love to photograph jaguars. I would love to photograph a mountain lion someday. Big predators really interest me the most. And then other than that, there's a lot of little images I would love to get, just animals doing certain things. But the big ones on my list are good photographs of jaguars, mountain lions, maybe some of the big cats in Africa. And honestly, if I kept thinking about it, I could think of a million photos on my list, but that's what makes it fun. You get more and more every year. So we'll see what happens next. I'm never gonna repeat this one, but I kind of value every new shot I get because there's always an animal in a different backdrop, in a different sort of behavior, and they all tell their own story.